One of the things that makes the Toy Story movies so great is, well, the toys. And you saw a lot of them in Andy's room in Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2, but by the time we got to Toy Story 3, well, only the favorites were left. Many of the toys who served as supporting characters that we came to know in the first two movies were gone. It begs the question, where did everyone go? Whatever happened to the rest of the toys? Well, that's what we'll try to uncover in this video. This is the Forgotten Toys of Toy Story. At the beginning of Toy Story 3, we realized that Andy got older, and the only toys left are the main characters of the series. We never found out what happened to the other toys. This was by design from the creators of Toy Story. In one interview, Toy Story director Lee Untitled said, "We wanted to show in a concrete and dramatic way that any toy, at any time, could be outgrown and given away. The best example is Woody's love interest, Bo Peep, who was noticeably absent in Toy Story 3. Fans were so surprised that nearly all the other characters just disappeared without any explanation. They were especially upset about Bo Peep." Untitled said, "I can't even tell you how many letters I got from folks mourning her loss and feeling sad for Woody." Of course, Bo Peep triumphantly returned in Toy Story 4, and we learned that she previously had been donated. But what about the fate of the rest of the toys? That's what we're going to try to answer. Now, before we begin, we have some definitive answers on what happened to certain toys, and others, it's just speculation based on the rules of the Toy Story universe and the history of other toys in the film. Historically, the toys in these movies usually meet the same fate. They're either saved, which none of the toys in this list are, stored in the attic, donated to other children, sold at yard sales, or broken and thrown in the trash. So we did our best to figure out what happened. And also, if you've never seen all the Toy Story movies before, there are some pretty big spoilers, just to warn you. So let's begin. Wheezy. The history of Wheezy dates back to the original concept for Toy Story. But he made his debut in Toy Story 2 as the nervous rubber penguin who lost his squeaker. His good friend Woody saved him from a yard sale, and Wheezy closes with a rousing ballad of "You've Got a Friend in Me." There's even a giant animatronic version of Wheezy singing in Toy Story Land at the end of Slinky Dog Dash. But the singing scene at the end of Toy Story 2 was the last that we ever saw of Wheezy. So what happened? Well, Woody saved him from a yard sale once, but apparently he couldn't do it a second time. In Toy Story 3, Woody reveals that Wheezy was in fact sold at a yard sale. We can confirm that Wheezy was sold. Lenny. Lenny is a little pair of binoculars that lives on Andy's bookshelf. He was essential in scouting new toys at Andy's birthday party and alerting the other toys in the moving van when Woody and Buzz were approaching. And of course, he was part of one of the more funny outtake scenes in Toy Story 2. So where is Lenny now? Unfortunately, like Wheezy, Lenny was also sold at that same yard sale. This is confirmed by Woody in the beginning of Toy Story 3. Man, Andy's mom loves yard sales. Rocky Gibraltar. You probably remember this wrestling action figure from Toy Story, but you might not know his name. It's actually weightlifting Rocky Gibraltar. He's best known for appearing in the famous Strange Things montage in Toy Story 1. He also used his muscle to throw Woody out of the moving van. And he appeared briefly in the second movie, and there's even a super rare action figure of him. But what happened to Rocky? Well, Rocky was modeled after popular wrestling action figure toys, but instead of being built like the old rubber WWF Superstar figures, which are basically indestructible, he's designed more like a He-Man figure. And if you played with those things, you know that after a while, they can break. So my belief is that Andy probably broke Rocky at some point, and he was trashed. See ya, Rocky. Mr. Spell was modeled after the popular Speak and Spell toys of the early 1980s. He had a minor role in the first movie, but he was key to helping Buzz decode the license plate of the evil collector Al Wigington, who stole Woody from a yard sale. The last we saw of Mr. Spell, he was dancing to Wheezy's song with the rest of the toys. So where has he been? Electronics toys like the Speak and Spell don't always have the longest shelf life. It's possible that he could have been broken and thrown out, but I'm going to say that Mr. Spell was handed down to Molly and then eventually donated. Before there was Poppy the Troll, there was a character known simply as Troll. This was Molly's toy, and she didn't have a lot to do in the first two movies, although she was definitely visible, and even had a role in the Toy Story 3 intro. So what was the fate of Troll? Well, we know in Toy Story 3 that Molly had no problem donating her old toys that she wasn't using. We also see similar troll dolls at Sunnyside Daycare. This leads me to believe that Troll was likely donated. ETCH is short for Etch-a-Sketch, the famous Ohio Arts toy, who was good friends with Woody. In the first 2 films, you'd see him drawing a number of detailed images in lightning-quick time. He's probably best remembered for his composite sketch of Al from Al's Toy Barn. But what became of ETCH? This one is confirmed by Woody in Toy Story 3. Yep, ETCH was sold at a yard sale. But these types of toys seem to last a long time, so hopefully ETCH is still drawing today. Barrel of Monkeys. These characters came from the famous Milton Bradley game, and they were a part of memorable scenes in all 4 of the Toy Story movies. Their final appearance was helping Woody and Bo execute Operation Pull Toy. So what happened to the Barrel of Monkeys? Well, I'm sure a few of the monkeys were probably lost, maybe a few were broken, but my guess is that Andy simply stopped using this toy, and these monkeys were donated. RC. Andy's remote-controlled car was one of the more memorable supporting characters and played a big role in the first Toy Story movie. There's several models of RC made by Disney over the years. In fact, we'd actually see RC in the flashback scene in Toy Story 4. So what happened to RC? RC is an electronic car, and while he survived Buzz dropping his controller in the road in Toy Story, it's likely that his electronics experienced some wear and tear over the years. In fact, it could be the reason why RC couldn't get out of that muddy gutter in Toy Story 4 and needed to be saved by Woody and the other toys. So I'm guessing that RC probably broke down over the years and eventually was trashed. Evil Emperor Zurg. While he technically never was in the playroom, Zurg, the sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance, made his debut in Toy Story 2. The last time we'd see Zurg, he was using his ion blaster to play catch with his new son, utility belt Buzz Lightyear. So whatever happened to Zurg? Well, if you stayed for the credits of Toy Story 3, you know this one. Zurg would end up donated to the cool and groovy Sunnyside Daycare. He even does a robot dance. So those are some of the toys and our attempts to clarify what happened to them. In the comment section below, share your favorite toy and post your theory about why they suddenly disappeared prior to Toy Story 3.